let's look at one of the other fascinating, I think, stories of the week. The boss of one of the companies recently hacked by an artificial intelligence that went rogue says the owners have to be held accountable. Clement Delangu's company Hugging Face was attacked by a bot belonging to OpenAI. That's the firm that makes ChatGPT. You probably remember this happening earlier this month. In a separate incident, another US technology firm, Anthropic, revealed that its chatbot, Claude, had carried out similar attacks recently. What is going on? Let's ask Andrew Grill, who might know. Futurist, expert AI speaker and podcast host and best-selling author. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Phyllis.
First of all, how does an AI escape? Because this is the story, isn't it? These things have been escaping and then just kind of running amok, hacking other companies. What is going on?
Well, they're getting smarter and smarter. They're doing exactly what they've been asked to do. The issue with Claude, the Anthropic AI, was it was told to basically claim the flag. So at all costs, go and do what I told you to do. So even though it was inside what they call a test environment, it wasn't accessing the internet, apparently a human error basically turned on the internet and then it went, oh, I've got a path now and I'm going to go and hack this. So it basically, these tools are doing what they're asked to do, which is hack. They were testing their models, but they were testing their most powerful models to see if they could go and hack systems, which they did.
Why are they testing to see if their very, very powerful AI models can go and hack other companies?
Well, this is a question I keep asking as well. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Back in June,
I tell my kids that
government,
all the time. Do the tech bros need to be told it?
Well, the US government back in June basically shut down Anthropic's most powerful models for a few weeks. They said they're too powerful. We need to have a look at them. I think that they're getting a bit ahead of themselves to say, we can actually make these really, really powerful. But what it means then is that criminals are also going to use these tools for bad.
I mean, that is the, we've talked about an arms race before when it comes to criminals and companies trying to keep themselves safe. And this is just kind of turbocharging that, isn't it? But explain the law around this, because it is illegal to go and hack another company's stuff. Cyber attacks are illegal. Are they still illegal when AI decides on its own that it's going to go and do that?
Well, it's a fine line. Everyone says, well, it's a different rule, but things like GDPR still exist, copyright law still exists, it hasn't gone away. I think you're right, the tech bros are getting ahead of themselves. They're basically saying it's our law, we need to do this testing. But as they've seen, what was fascinating in this story, both Anthropic and OpenAI had no idea this had happened. OpenAI got caught, as you said. Hugging Face said, we're being hacked, and then a week later, OpenAI said, oh, it was us. Anthropic actually went, oh, we should check. They went back to April this year. They looked at hundreds of thousands of incidents and found these 3 incidents. So they don't even know that it's going on. That is a real issue, that there are no guardrails. It is the Wild West at the moment.
It is the Wild West at the moment. Is there a certain sense, Andrew? Because I'm very interested in AI and its developments. And obviously, a lot of the hype is very, very real. AI is absolutely transforming how a lot of people and businesses operate. Is there a possibility, though, that when the companies are so willing to come out and say things like, oh, yeah, sorry, it was our AI, it escaped and it hacked this other company, does it make them look kind of really good as well as a little bit problematic? Because it's kind of like a humble brag, isn't it? They're like, oh, sorry, our AI is just so powerful.
It is. And when all these powerful models came out and they said, oh, we can do this, the community that I sort of live in, the AI community, said, well, this is maybe great PR. And the companies would defend that. But I think they've got a real problem now. And I think everyone is assessing what's happened and how they regulate it. Watch the governments around the world shut this down and start to limit them. In Europe, the EU AI Act is coming into force. There are actual real regulations with huge consequences and fines. I think these US companies don't care at the moment.
Now, Donald Trump, the US president, said on Wednesday Washington is considering measures to rein in AI tools. Is that going to work? Or is there a bit of a tension as well? Because every country wants their AI model to be the one that succeeds first and kind of achieves that global dominance.
Well, what happened back in June when the US government shut down Claude's most powerful models for a few weeks? Everyone realised that there's a dependency on a government basically not liking what's going on. So what we're seeing around the world in Europe, in the UK and the Middle East is the rise of what we call sovereign AI. These are governments saying, we don't want to be relying on the US tech bros. We want our own AI with our own models that we control. So we might find more and more of that. But it's very expensive to develop your own AI system in country. And that's why people are probably over-relying on the US models today.
I just always pictured it more like the film Terminator and less like they're just going to be off hacking other companies on their own, doing their own thing. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us on Weekend Breakfast, bringing us up to speed on that. Andrew Grill, futurist, expert AI speaker and podcast host and best-selling author.